Alright, so I believe we are live now on Twitch. So hello everyone, we are here on the beta build, the latest, with Bruno Spengler, who is now testing the very final version of the physics according to all the feedback he provided us with. And we have also joining us James, that you know better as Gamer Muscle. We have Wim Bries from BelgiumSimRacing.com. Or rather, bsimracing.com is the correct URL. And Karsten and Marco from the development team. So today, we're just showing you now the very last test session before we go live with the patch and release the DTM 2015 cars in the game. So Bruno is already doing laps. I don't know how it feels now, Bruno. If you can hear us. I think he might be the game audio a little bit too loud. Or maybe he forgot to put the earplug. But that's all right. I mean, we can have a chat with Gamer Muscle and Wim. Maybe Karsten and Marco, you can explain what went in this new update for people that are not familiar with all the sessions we had. What will be the main differences between 2014 that people know and the upcoming 2015 cars?
The difference between 14 and 15, everything. There's but we pretty much started from scratch. It's a brand new car in that sense, so it's really hard to because it's every element of the car that's been touched in some way or form, and then it has then gone through. I'm just looking through the list here, and there's 5 or 6 revisions where we've gotten feedback from DTM drivers. So it's really I really cannot say everything that's changed according to 14 to 15, or from 14 to 15, but it's pretty much everything. It's a very, very different car.
Yeah, I'm doing my first laps on this track here, so I have to get used to it a bit, but I have to admit it feels really good.
Yeah, I think jumping into this car, the biggest, the difference is most noticeable from the previous version of the DTM car is that it's a lot more nippy, a lot more narrow, a lot more not locked into a path, but more pointy, more concise. You have to be a little bit more agile on your brake and your accelerator to get the most out of it, I think.
Yeah, it's a much more precise car. When you really have to be precise. If you overdrive it now, you will lose time. You can't just turning the wheel and make the corner. Here you will lose time in the corner if you overdrive it. So
it's less oversteering now. That could be me though.
It probably is.
I can sort of feel it better when it goes into oversteer.
This is one of those tracks where you have to focus 120% to do a single lap without going off.
Oops.
I won't say what we updated here now, because I'm kind of waiting on Spengler needs to hear it as well, so he knows. But as long as he can't hear us, then I'll not go into details what changed in this latest revision, at least.
Is everybody driving the basic setup?
I'm running the default at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, for you. That I can touch at the moment. The setup is it's a compromise solution between all the DTM 2015 tracks. So it's not really ideal on any track. you know, it has to function on all the tracks, so it's a bit of a compromise, but so it works better on some and worse on others. This default setup at least, but it's very drivable still. Just have to be careful with braking deep here in Moscow.
I think that's one of the things that's really nice with RaceRoom is that obviously you do have to be careful when driving on the limit that if you go over the limit, but you still got that amount of play to the car. So there's a degree that you can make a mistake and get away with it, and that seems to be the case with this 2015 DTM car as well. It's not the case that if you make a mistake you're just spinning around and it's over. You can catch it and play with it a bit.
Yes. I mean, there's a limit, of course.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've often been caught out being too brave, coming out of corners, because I've been, 4 laps in a row, I've been, nice power slide sideways, and I'm Superman, and then next time I'm not so Superman. I overdid it, then it will sting. But yes, the margin is definitely there. I mean, there's room to play with the car.
Still trying to point out what's better now, but it feels a lot better than last time.
So there is one thing that I can point out. The downshifts, there is too much safety on the downshift, so I cannot downshift early enough,
Right.
So last time wasn't the case. From the downshift in second gear into the slower corners, I have to wait. I have to select a couple of times because there is like a safety.
Yeah.
I don't know what for the engine or whatever, but I cannot downshift.
Yeah, we had it last time actually. Now it just beeps to you.
It's like it's a bit more extreme than last time because last time I did not struggle with the problem that much.
It could be that I'm not sure actually last time, because maybe last time was when it, if it prevented the gear change, it kind of went into neutral until the RPM was correct again, and then it plopped into gear.
Yeah.
Where now it just plain out refuses you.
Yeah, it
Change
just,
the gear.
it just doesn't downshift, and sometimes you have to wait too long to be able to downshift.
Yeah, I mean the as soon as you downshift and you're above your rev limit, it refuses.
Can you shift a little bit the rev limits? But not now, but for the actual game actually. Just that the tolerance is a bit bigger,
Yeah, I mean on physics, yes, but I might get sound on the back.
But that's okay. Then it's up to you,
Yeah, but we definitely look into it.
Yeah.
We can look into
it's up to the guy who downshifts to whatever he wants to do.
we can look into a code solution for this too. Make it more, give more allowance.
Yeah, we talked about 105%.
Yeah, maybe we can go that way.
And do you guys find the car more oversteering than last time?
I find it less oversteering now.
Okay, because I find it more on power, on exits.
Be careful that you're back on the default setup, so you don't have the setup changes that we made last session. You might want to do them again.
Yeah, I did my setup changes, but before I went out. But the question is.
Oh, but it is. I mean, that was the feeling I had when we did the changes here as well. That it's. I mean, it has more exit oversteer for sure.
Yeah.
And it's more pointy.
Yeah.
On the I can just go through the list, but with the tires that we talked about a lot last time, that was where the bulk of the work is here. That that it retains the grip better at high loads and high speed corners. So it's much more pointy than it was before.
Yeah.
And then with the downforce as well, actually we kept the downforce level as maximum you can achieve, but the balance was shifted as well. And as you can see now, we actually be running 5 to 20 degrees.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's very good.
And the new default is 16. So the 16 wing now is the the one that was all 8 in the previous version.
Yeah.
And then I mean, I touched the dampers quite a lot again, but that was also to make them, because we have this big range in spring rate.
Yes.
So they're kind of, if you go down in springs, it's it's of course personal preference, but you might want to go equal down in dampers, but you can then also use the dampers to, I want them a bit stiffer, or but it's at least their range is adjusted so you can match them to a 90 spring and you can match them to a 250 spring. You couldn't so much before.
Yeah.
But that's basically the bulk of the work. But the result is definitely a more pointy car.
Yeah.
And you have to be a little bit more careful. It depends on the corners, but and your steering lock. I mean, if you have a lot of steering lock on your corner exit and you go too hard on the power, it will respond with wheel spin and try to throw you off.
Yeah.
So there, it's kind of you can maybe call it a trade-off by getting the nose more pointy. The rear became a little bit more loose.
Yeah.
But also the default roll bar now is maybe it's fairly high. Maybe other people prefer it a bit lower.
It's
But it's there.
120, huh? It's quite high.
Yeah, now 80. It should be.
In the front, I mean.
Oh yeah, front is 100. Yeah, 120 or something.
Bruno, do you find with the real DTM car that it's got a really tight sort of power band at the end of the throttle? Is that where you have to be really careful putting down the power?
Yes. Close to full power, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, close between. I mean, the most difficult, or one of the most difficult on the DTM car is the last. It's between 50 and 100%.
So do you find yourself having to balance the throttle on that very final part of throttle travel then to sort of get the most out of that?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, the initial when you pick up the power initially, that's always, I would say it's not that bad, but it's a bit later in the corner when you then want to apply the very last percentage. This is where it gets tricky because sometimes you're too early and you lose the car, and sometimes you're a little bit too late and you feel, okay, we've lost a lot of lap time because we're too late.
And you see, to me, it seems that that's captured really well in R3E, where especially when you're doing hot lapping, it's that very last fraction of throttle and on some of the tighter corners, just deciding when you're putting it down to then balance it with the steering as well. And I find that really satisfying with this vehicle.
But this is, I would say, it's quite well done here in the game because it's the same. I have to be quite careful on this last application.
I gotta restart it for a second.
Oh yeah, and another result of this, like we talked about also, is the car is a little bit slower than it was before.
Yeah, that's very good. The lap times, I think they are very realistic now.
And also, one thing that we touched on last time, although you mentioned, is that if you put a wheel in the grass, you will actually, depending on what corner is coming, but you will lose a couple of tenths.
Yeah.
We have added a feature like that now.
That's good.
So it's basically blending between all the materials that we have. They all have different grip levels. So like now you adjust on the green stuff, and then a bit out in the runoff, and that has a little bit less grip. So when you do that, you will suddenly hear stone chips and stuff. Like they're banging up in your wheel arches. And as long as they do that, you have you have less grip. You have just blended the grip levels between the two, and it takes a little seconds to get it off. So it definitely plays a factor now.
But this wasn't an important thing to do because I think that's going to help a lot.
Yeah, it made the experience very dynamic. You have to think more about where you drive now.
Yeah.
I think Bruno's car needs a little bit of ballast applied to it to make things fair.
No, we don't want ballast in video games. We want something real. You already don't want any real, so what do you want?
I should be in again in a minute.
How many laps, Bruno, would you say you've put around this track in real life?
Total?
How many laps do you think you've put around this track in real life?
I don't know. I've done 3 races of I think about 40 laps. 120 plus around 200, I would say total.
Do you find the simulator helps you in terms of optimizing your racing when it comes to applying it to the real world as well?
Yeah, I mean, where it helps me a lot is for my concentration. Like if I play before the season starts again, and I had a long break, if I play quite a bit of RaceRoom, it helps me because it just helps me concentrating.
Based on the high-speed kink here, Bruno, would you say the amount of steering you had to put in now, that's more...
It's perfect. It's exactly how it should be. Last time this was a bit of a weak point, but
yeah,
you did a good job. This is good now.
Excellent.
Is the track slower in the race than in free practice?
No. Oh, I think we weren't qualifying before.
Okay, I'm back in. You guys are in a race session.
Yeah, it was before in qualifying, then the track is faster than in race.
Or is the setup coming back to the normal setup before the race then?
Say again?
Because I changed my setup in the free practice. I did something different, and that felt quite good. And now in the race, the car feels a bit different. So do you think the setup goes back to the original one when we start the race?
No, it shouldn't.
Shouldn't.
Seems I missed the
Maybe
race. While
it's the grip level thingy between qualifying and race, most likely.
See, everyone's gone quiet to focus on the handling.
Yeah, everyone's concentrated.
I think this track has probably got the most corners out of any of the DTM tracks on the calendar.
I like this track though.
Sadly enough, I'm not in the race. I decided to disable my SLI just the minute the server shifts the race.
I think it should be starting another session afterwards. I'm sure you'll be able to join in on.
Yeah, no worries.
Probably maybe jump on Oschersleben then. Another track we drove last time, just for comparison, but quickly go through them since.
Yeah, but
time.
I don't think Bruno has time. It's up to you, Bruno.
What did you say?
It's Carsten was suggesting we switch to another track, but it's already 1:45. It's up to you.
We can do a few laps on another track. Yeah, sure.
Okay, want me to switch now?
Yes.
All right. I will be AFK for a bit.
So Bruno, do you find it with the presumably the steering in the real car, because you're driving with a G27 at the moment, aren't you? You're using a G27?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, presumably with the real DTM car, the torque from the steering wheel is a lot stronger. Do you find it tricky jumping from the real car to then using something like the G27? Is that difficult for you?
Yeah, that's difficult because I have to be a lot smoother with this steering wheel because this steering wheel is very easy. You know, it's very easy to turn. So the DTM steering wheel, it's much harder. You have to put a lot more effort into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it takes me 3-4 laps to adapt. You know.
Have you ever looked into sort of a AccuForce wheel or OpenSim wheel or one of the higher torque wheels that you can buy that should output the exact same torque values as the real car, so it should line up 1-to-1 or a lot closer?
I haven't tried yet these kind of steering wheels.
But I think that'd be something definitely worth looking into if you do obviously going from the real car to the virtual. I think
that'd be something interesting for sure.
The server's up, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
Refresh.
Yeah, I would like to know how it feels.
Oschersleben.
The direct drive.
Oschersleben is a good track, but you did very well on the lap time because last time I went in Moscow I was quite easily under 130, and this time I had to do a really good lap to do a 130.5.
Yeah, it's pretty much half a second
so
plus.
That's perfect. That's exactly how it should be. And this is the lap times we were doing in the race, actually, between 130.0 and 130.5.
Yeah, that's good. Also, something we're trying with the tire now. You probably not feel it out of the box. You need to be in, to drive it quite a lot. But actually now, when you start, you have a little bit less grip, so it takes a few laps to come in. Like you mentioned last time, where you in qualifying run high pressure, so you have the grip quicker, more the optimal pressure. And in the race, you do it differently. You run the tires a bit softer, and it takes a few laps to come in.
Yeah.
That we're trying to imitate here, just with the grip level, basically.
That's why I struggled in the first lap in the race.
Yeah, it could be. Oh, most likely. Yeah.
Definitely, because the car was completely different in the first lap of the race.
Yeah.
So that's why. That's good. That's very good.
I was wondering, do the braking points line up with real life?
Yes, they are very close. They are really close.
Because that's sort of like I was always wondering when a real racing driver uses a virtual version, when it's for instance laser scanned, that's a good point. But then I always think like, imagine the braking points in the virtual version would be totally wrong. Then it would be probably have a negative effect on you trying to do virtual reset.
big shout out to the artist who made the tracks as accurate as we can.
Yeah, I think you really shine at that these days.
Yeah, it's a
Like
strong
so
team.
Beautiful, yeah. And they have this clean look to them. I know that graphic styles may sort of depend on personal preference, but yeah, I sort of
I
like
think they get that balance right between you've got the photo real look and then the sort of pure simulator look, and I think RaceRoom sort of in between that.
Yeah.
There's not. I really like all the sort of, aside from the track accuracy seeming to be fairly correct, just the amount of assets outside the screen, whilst it still runs smooth as well. Little animated people, all the details that don't matter, but they make things feel as if you're actually at a race rather than driving around some empty location.
Whoops, I locked the brakes.
Like for example, braking for turn 1. In Oschersleben, there is a road on the right side. Did you see that road?
Yeah, I just lost it there.
On the braking, there is a road on the right side, and that's exactly where we brake in real life, and that's exactly where I brake in the game.
Okay, we'll try that. See what it does.
Oops.
It's been since GTR2 that I've been doing these tracks.
Yeah, I've not raced on this one or the previous track.
Ages. I try to remember how it was. I'm not just saying so, but this really feels solid now. Yeah. And more precise than last time.
It's better, huh?
Yeah.
Sorry. I was very hot there.
I think with the 2014 car, the car had a tendency to float around the track a little bit more. I definitely feel this one's more planted, as I said, like more direct.
Yeah, I mean, it was part of the feedback we had. Like we were lacking aggressivity on the front, and this sense of floaty feeling was actually the tires. But since they have been redone from scratch now, I mean, we have the car behavior that is a lot more, believable. Like,
what would you say is the hardest part from the development perspective when it comes to making the changes based off driver feedback?
Tires are always the tough one. Because that's really where you feel the car, I guess. I mean, and we have no idea because we have not driven a DTM car. So,
Yeah,
so you need to interpret, the info and kind of. It's probably like this.
Yeah. Good question. How do you try to sort of recreate something you can't really feel if you haven't experienced it yourself?
That's the thing. That's also where all the debates are. Because everybody, but that's the thing. Everybody has kind of their own idea of how it would feel, and we have different force feedback settings, different everything.
Yeah, different.
There's no debates in sim racing. Everyone's completely agreed on exactly what they want, and everyone's on the same page.
Yeah. Until they are on the same page, then they're not on the same page. There was
That's
a lot
why-
of subsections.
Yeah, that's why it's important to get feedback from actual drivers. I mean, that's how you know you're going the right way with the changes. I mean, I know Karsten and Marco. I mean, they've been doing those physics not only based on the feel they got and the feedback, but also, I mean, Karsten, you were looking also at you know, how the car looks visually, balances on curbs and in turns and the load. I mean, that comes also as part of the package. Like, if the car doesn't also look like the actual race car in real life, then something is missing.
Yeah, that's a good one. I've always noticed that in different titles, the what I call external physics. Well, let's say you look at a replay. I like to see the weight of the car, and the suspension behavior should somewhat resemble what you expect it to do. And in a lot of titles, it does seem sort of exaggerated a lot of times. So in this case, looks okay.
Yo! I thought there was enough space.
No.
You closed the door,
Narrow.
huh?
It's one for the stewards.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna make sure to have my wheels set up correctly because while installing the new version, I had to set up the wheel again, and it feels actually pretty okay straight out of the box, but well, we all have our little personal things with it. Whoa, lost it. Well, I definitely know one new feature works.
You're talking about the dirt pickup on the tires?
Yeah?
Yeah.
You just lost it, and then when you get back on track, you really have to be careful on the throttle or you turn it around.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that Bruno touched on last time we had a test session. Actually, he called us back on the next morning with an idea of you know, how to solve. Sometimes the cut track detection are a bit harsh.
Yeah.
So we actually made it now based on this idea of, you know, we made the feature so that the tires pick up dirt if you go off track.
You get penalized by it. Yeah.
Yes. And then you have to, you know, clean them off. And you have also an audio sample that allows you to know that you have some pebbles coming off your tires hitting the car body.
The other thing that's very good also is I went offline once or twice with two wheels, and this is also what we talked about last time. If you're not exactly online, the car just doesn't grip at all. So that was improved from last time too.
Bruno, when you're driving with the simulator, do you find what do you find yourself reacting to mostly in terms of responding to the simulator? Are you using the force feedback to get a feel, or the visuals, or how much do you use the sound, or the different aspects to actually respond to how the car's moving? What do you find yourself?
Sound, I mean, all of them. I can't tell you just one. It's sound, it's force feedback, and it's a lot visual. I do a lot visual, you know. I have a lot of points where to brake and where to turn in and all this.
And another good question, when you shift in real life, I mean, do you tend to look at the telemetry, or is it purely by feel and and
the
sound.
shift, the upshift.
Yeah, for instance, the upshift. Yeah.
That's on the telemetry. No, sorry, on the dashboard we have the lights.
Yeah. You
you
just
shift
watched the
according
shift
to the
light
lights. Yes.
in your peripheral view, I guess.
Yeah. You shift when the lights are getting red. So, guys, unfortunately, I have to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the improvements from last time to this time, I mean, there was not a lot of it. I mean, there was not a lot because, like I told you last time, the game had done a reasonable step from the first time to the second time. So second time I was already very happy. So you had a difficult job to do from last time to this time. But it's good. I mean, I'm happy. The car is not as quick anymore, and the improvements that I asked for have been done. So it's good. I think, yeah, it's a good game. It's very good. You did a very good job.
Thank you. Very pleased to hear.
So yeah, I think we can go for it. Can't wait to have the real game.
I'll press the button and release now then. Just kidding, just kidding.
Yeah, please do that.
Just kidding. It's soon, few days off.
How long?
It's a couple of
Now it comes.
let's say it next. I don't know if I can say it, but it's imminent because right
Okay.
now
Is it
we're
after
in-
the last race, or is it before the last race?
should be around the last race.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Sounds good.
All right.
Okay,
But
guys. So
thanks for your
thank you
time.
very
I
much.
know it was tough for you today, but thanks a lot,
No problem. My pleasure.
and have a good one in Hockenheim then.
Thank you. And we're gonna have some more sessions during the winter. I'm gonna have more time then.
All right. Super.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, nice to see you.
See you soon. Had fun. Bye bye.
Bye.
Did you guys optimize anything on the graphics or what? Because I now I tended to run with SLI on. Now I'm back on one card at the moment, and as with many things, it might be between my ears, but the performance seems better too on a single card now for me.
Depends
Could be
on
It depends on the track and what's going on, of course, but
no, but compared to when.
to the the version that was up like 3 weeks ago.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Now I have to, like I say, maybe I'm saying something stupid now because this was a new install. My
But it depends on tracks. I mean, Oscislim has never really been happy. You might change your mind if you go to something newer.
yeah. Yeah.
Just looking at my phone now. Apparently, people have picked up on the fact that we have. I wasn't looking at the stream, but we have a wrong banner that said Bruno was DTM Champion 2014, which is not accurate. It's 2012.
Yeah.
Sorry for that.
You probably upset some hardcore DTM fans there.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I believe it was Marco Whitman.
Yeah, 13 was lucky.
But yeah, I think we can wrap this up for this stream with Bruno. And this afternoon, we will most likely have another one with Daniel Juncadella.
Yeah.
Who couldn't be attending this one, but could only make it later in the afternoon. So stay tuned. We might go live again this afternoon.
Okay then.
And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. We'll be looking at if you have any questions, feel free to ask on Twitter. I believe you most likely had some answers on the Twitch chat, but we're always there behind Twitter if you have any questions. So see you later, and thanks for tuning in today. Bye bye.
What track?